Good afternoon, students. How are you? How is the climate? Is it raining? Had your food? Okay. We'll see some more topics of physical chemistry. Okay. Uh, Thermodynamic itself. The morning section we have covered what is reversible and irreversible process, some terms like what is work, heat, internal energy, then laws of thermodynamics, zeroth law and first law. Now we are going to discuss some more topics, which is enthalpy, heat capacity, expressions for ideal gas, Joule-Thomson effect. Okay, before going we'll see first law of thermodynamics. Mathematically we can write first law of thermodynamics as amount of the heat absorbed is equal to change in internal energy plus work done. Okay, keep this in mind. Now we are going to the next term, which is enthalpy. Enthalpy is a term which actually used in thermodynamics to represent the loss or gain of heat. Okay, when the process is having loss or gain of heat energy, we used to denote it using enthalpy, and it is denoted by capital H. And how it is defined is, it is defined by an expression H is equal to E plus PV. What is H? Enthalpy. E, internal energy, P is pressure and V is volume. And when we consider it, we normally at constant pressure, what is the heat is gained or lost, we used to denote by enthalpy. Then enthalpy change, as usual we will not able to find out the absolute value of enthalpy, so we go for enthalpy change. So when a system changes from state 1 to state 2, what will be the difference in the enthalpy, that we calculate, and that we used to denote by delta H. So at constant pressure we can write delta H is equal to delta E plus P delta V. And if you see back the expression, we can see that delta E plus P delta V is equal to Q. That is first law of mathematical expression. Q is equal to delta E plus P delta V. So that expression we can write here. So delta H we can take it as heat absorbed or lost at constant pressure. Similarly, if you take at constant volume, what happened? dE will be equal to P dV, that is delta V will be equal to 0. So delta H will be equal to delta E, and we can say it is the amount of the heat given out or absorbed by a system at constant volume, or delta E will be equal to QV. So remember, at constant pressure delta H is equal to amount of the heat absorbed or released, and at constant volume amount of heat released or amount of heat absorbed is equal to change in internal energy. Now enthalpy of reactions. Now take the case of enthalpy of reactions. There are two types of reactions, endothermic and exothermic. What is exothermic? Exothermic is a reaction where the reactant have more energy. So when the process comes, the reactant releases the energy to the surrounding. So therefore delta H is negative. From the system it is going out. Okay. Then endothermic reaction. What is endothermic reaction? Reactants have low energy than the product. So from the surrounding it used to take the energy for the reaction. So the energy is flowing into the system, and therefore delta H is positive. So for an exothermic reaction delta H is negative, and endothermic reaction delta H is positive. Now next term is heat capacity. Have anyone observed, if you take a glass of water and heat, and if you take a glass of milk and heat, will it boil at the same time? No. Every substance heat up or boil at different rates. And in this picture I have shown you 1 kg of gold and 1 kg of aluminium. It shows that 1 kg of gold heats faster than 1 kg of aluminium. If you heat both the things, to attain the same temperature, that is 90 degrees centigrade, gold will take less time, whereas aluminum will take more time, or gold heats up about 7 times faster than aluminum. So what amount of the energy it is absorbing, it depends upon the nature of the substance. Similarly, how much energy can be stored is also different for different material. Again, in this diagram I have shown gold and water. So if you take the case of gold and water, water takes about 30 times longer to heat than gold. If you heat gold to attain 90 degree, what time is needed is less. But when you take the case of 1 kg of water and heat it, it needs more time. What is the thing is, water contain more energy, so it can store more energy, and this energy is what is heat capacity, that is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of a substance by 1 degree. If you take unit mass, for example 1 gram or 1 kilogram, and you are heating it, what is the amount needed to raise the temperature by 1 degree centigrade? 30 degree irikina gold 31 degree agane, how much energy எவ்வளவு energy needed, that is what is heat capacity. And we can denote, expression is, we usually used to denote heat capacity by capital C, and it mathematical expression, amount of the heat required in unit time, so Q divided by delta T. Then heat capacity can be expressed in two ways. If we take the mass in grams, we call it a specific heat capacity. Instead of that, we are going to take substance in moles, means that is molar heat capacity. Unit of specific heat capacity is joule per gram per Kelvin, whereas for molar heat capacity, joule per mole per Kelvin. And in our discussions further, we are going to discuss molar heat capacity only. Then if you take the case of molar heat capacity, what is the definition you can give? Definition you can give, the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of a substance by 1 degree is what is known as molar heat capacity. And in that also we can express it as Q by delta T. During the heating, it can be done by two methods. One at constant volume, that is shown as red one. If you do in that case, we will be the amount of the heat what we supplied will be utilized only for increasing internal energy, and that molar heat capacity we used to say as molar heat capacity at constant volume, and it is denoted by CV, and it is the amount of heat required to raise 1 mole of the substance temperature by 1 degree. So again Q by delta T, but when it is at constant volume, Q can be written as delta E. So CV you can write it as dou E by dou T at constant volume. Now take the case of the right hand side, that is green color. We are heating the substance at constant pressure. When he heat the substance at constant pressure, the amount of the energy given is used not only to increase the internal energy, but to do some work, that is work of expansion has to be done. So what happened, what energy we are giving, it has to be used for increasing the internal energy and also to do some work. So Cp if you take means, you can say that Cv, that is amount needed to increase the internal energy plus some work done. Okay, so it will, we can, it is used to denote by Cp, molar heat capacity at constant volume. And when you take, that is amount of Q, it is del D, change in enthalpy we have already seen. So we can write the expression Cv is equal to dou H by dou T at constant pressure. Now again keep in mind always, Cv will always be less than Cp. What is the reason is, the amount of heat supplied when we are heating the same substance at constant pressure and volume, it is different. When you take 1 gram of the gold, keep it at constant pressure and heat it, the amount needed for two purposes. One is to increase the internal energy and also to do some work. So what happens? Cp will be always greater than Cv, and that difference is universal gas constant. What is universal gas constant? Again, it is energy only. So Cp minus Cv is equal to R. I'm going into the derivation part and all. I'm just recapping what we have studied only. You can take your last semester book and see how these expressions are coming. Okay, I want to recollect you because we have a long gap 4 or 5 months. That is why I just going through the terms alone. Now what was the next thing what we have seen was expressions for ideal gas. It has been seen for two processes. One is reversible isothermal expansion and one is reversible adiabatic expansion. Reversible isothermal expansion. Isothermal means temperature remains constant throughout the process. When a substance is changing from state 1 to state 2, T remains constant. In that case, the amount of heat supplied is used only to do the work. So Q will always be equal to work done. Delta E will be 0. And that W work done you can get by the expression minus 2.303 RT ln, sorry, RT log V2 by V1. I have written ln, it's wrong, log V2 by V1. And when you express it in terms of pressure, it will become minus 2.303 RT log P1 by P2. Both delta E and delta H is 0 since temperature is constant. Now take the case of adiabatic expansion. What is adiabatic process? Quantity of heat supplied remains constant. So Q is equal to 0. And in that case, work done, if you look at the first law of thermodynamics, Q it is equal to dE plus W. So delta E, Q when becomes 0, delta E, if you are keeping there and taking the work done this side, it will become minus work done. Work done is given by minus NCV T2 minus T1, where N is the number of moles, Cv is the molar heat capacity at constant volume. And change in internal energy is equal to positive NCV into T2 minus T1. And delta H is equal to NCP T2 minus T1, where Cp is molar heat capacity at constant pressure. Now Joule-Thomson effect. What is Joule-Thomson effect? Do you remember where we are using it? Our AC, refrigerator, etc. gives us coolness by the principle of Joule-Thomson effect. What is Joule-Thomson effect? When a gas is allowed to undergo adiabatic expansion from a high pressure to a low pressure region, there will be a change in temperature. It can either be increase of temperature or decrease of temperature. Most cases it will be decrease in temperature except hydrogen and helium. Then you look at this picture, what you can see is that you have a blue color and a sand color portion, and between it is a porous membrane. These two regions are separated by a porous membrane, and it is written P1 and T1 on the blue color, sand color P2 and T2. So what it represents is both the sides pressure is different, and it is from high pressure region to low pressure region. So P1 is greater than P2. Now if you take the number there, you can see small dots. That is actually gas molecule. So if you see in the blue color, you can see that molecules are together. So it is in a compressed state. When we make it to move through the porous membrane, it comes to the other pressure region where it expands. That is, the number of molecules or internuclear distance is different. Okay. So why the temperature changes? In the compressed region, the molecules will be together. So there will be some intermolecular force of attraction. When we make it to come to the expansion region, molecules have to move apart. For that, it will utilize little internal energy. So what we felt will be decrease in the temperature. Okay, so that is what is Joule-Thomson effect. Remember, adiabatic expansion, a gas is allowed to undergo from a high pressure to a low pressure region. There will be a change in temperature. What is the significance of Joule-Thomson effect is it forms the principle of liquefaction of gases. Is it possible for a gas to condense to liquid? It is possible because of Joule-Thomson effect. Then ideal gases won't show this effect because ideal gas, what we says is there is no force of attraction between the molecules. So it doesn't need an energy to overcome this force of attraction. And another important thing is this effect is isoenthalpic. That is, during this process H remains constant. There will not be any change in enthalpy. So that is Joule-Thomson effect. Okay, we will see two more topics is there, that is Joule-Thomson coefficient and Kirchhoff's equation. Then we'll go to the second law of thermodynamics, entropy, etc. in the next class. For now, we'll stop here. Okay, so what are the things we have covered? Once more, I'll say what we have seen is what is enthalpy. So enthalpy is a heat loss or gain in thermodynamic system at constant pressure. Then we have seen mole heat capacity. It is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of a substance through 1 degree centigrade. And it is of two types, specific heat capacity and molar heat capacity. And molar heat capacity again is of two types, at constant volume and constant pressure. Now we have seen some expressions, and finally Joule-Thomson effect. Hope you have understood it. Thank you.